Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to another episode of All Nicked Up. Tonight, though, is a different kind of episode than we've ever done any of the three of us in our lifetimes, I think. Um, for a number of reasons, but the first reason being the Knicks are champions. Now, it's not the championship we all want yet, but they are champions of the NBA Cup tournament and it's something to celebrate. I don't care what people say. I'm happy they won this. I still don't. They didn't need to do the NBA Cup, but the fact that it's here, if we're gonna be in it, of course I want to win it. I want to win everything. That's just how I am. So I'm gonna celebrate it. I want to bring the guys on now, see if they want to celebrate it, see how they're feeling about it. Gentlemen, hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
How
Hello.
does it feel to be a champion? Put it that way.
Feel like a Queen song.
Yep, Joe's wearing his, I'm wearing mine, got my little hat, I got the hat on. We're all represented tonight for the New York Knicks after they, of course, won the NBA Cup last night against the San Antonio Spurs. So the Knicks won 124 to 113. First of all, it was a pretty competitive game. I thought it was a good basketball game for the most part. What did you guys feel about that?
Definitely good. Very competitive.
I
Yeah,
thought so too. It was an exciting game. Fun to
yeah, it
watch.
was. It was a good game to watch. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad um the atmosphere was good too. It was a little strange. Being in the neutral site is a little strange with
Mhm.
these things. You don't get the Garden cheering like if this was a home game or for the Spurs too. You're not having the fans there. But I felt like the energy was good in the building. At
Yeah.
least that's what I sensed. So from that standpoint, I thought it was a good event overall. And of course, having the Knicks in it definitely probably brought more eyes to this thing. So
Yeah.
the NBA was happy about it for sure. The NBA was definitely happy about it. So a couple things I want to touch on first before we go into anything else. There's a couple things I want to kind of get off my chest. I'm reading a lot of reactions today. Reading a lot of different things about the NBA Cup, what it is, um, should it be taken seriously? Look, we've discussed this before on this show. The three of us, we've talked about how we feel about it. We understand what it is, though. I think we all understand what it is, what the NBA is trying to do. But like I said before in my opening, if you're going to be in something, man, win it. Like it's a tournament. This is a tournament style event. It is a stress building event. Anyone who's ever been an athlete knows that when you're in a tournament, you're in it to win it, right? That's all you care about. I don't care if it's, you know, you're in a tournament for like a small little holiday tournament in college. They have all those holiday tournaments. I don't care if it's that. I don't care if it's the NBA Finals. I don't care what it is. They're all versions of tournaments. So if you're in it, you want to win it. And when you do win one, it's an accomplishment. So it should be celebrated. Now, the level of celebration we could talk about. How far we go with this, we definitely can have a discussion about. But I see a lot of weird reactions on social media from analysts and from people across the board, the spectrum. I always like to gauge what people think about, especially when the Knicks do something, because historically, when the Knicks do something good, it's been on a national scale. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, but what now? Okay, do it again. Like it's always never enough. When it's the Knicks involved, it's like you need to do it again because there's this theory out there that the Knicks, for whatever reason, the NBA tries to help them, and we know that's not the case. But there is this thinking out there that the NBA tries to help the Knicks. So, did you guys see any of those reactions today? Were you paying attention to try and see what the pulse was? On what?
Oh,
All right, Ty, go ahead. What did you think about the reactions
it's,
of
it's
today?
hence the name Cup Security Detail. Because I've
Right?
been following the details of this cup situation. Most
Hmm.
win. I'm gonna sound like Stephen A. And then the audacity and the atrocities that go along with being a Knicks. That's how I feel today a little bit with the Nick reaction, there's several other people I follow as far as blogs and following, content on Facebook. And even some people who are just basketball fans that were on my page, personal page, just talking about it. And first thing you hear is this disclaimer. You hear that, oh, well, the Knicks are celebrating a championship. It's not a real championship. And I'm like, so when Milwaukee and LA celebrated, was this same kind of pushback going on? The day prior to the game, or maybe it was, prior to the game, I saw footage where someone says, how dare they think about putting the banner up? This is before they even played the game. And said, I hope they're not putting up the banner. It's an atrocity. You hear all these things about, oh, they shouldn't even celebrate. One person even said they hope that they lose so that the banner wouldn't go up. And I'm like, what in Helena is going on with people having that much scrutiny and venom for the Knicks? Where you win something where you're not. I didn't feel like it was an overkill of celebration of this cup. I thought they stood up on the podium, were very respectful. We don't have those dudes even on this team that are outlandish to begin with. Cat is the most outlandish, flamboyant person on the Knicks. And even he's not really, he's very respectful still. So when you're hearing all these people, there are people like, oh, this is a fake thing. Well, the NBA created it, whether you agree with it or not. Like Eric said before, this is something that was created. It's here probably to stay. It's part of the culture of the NBA now, much like the three-point shot was probably thought to be a circus shot before it was actually put into play in the NBA. I know this is, we're like dinosaur people here. We're talking about things that actually occurred throughout the history of the NBA and speaking about there was at one point not a three-point shot. So for those that don't know, look how gigantic it is now, where this is maybe it's the weapon of choice. It is how you play NBA basketball. It's all three-point oriented. That was considered a novelty at one point. The dunking the ball was a novelty. So what we've gotten, it's something that we probably as old heads were probably poo-poo about, saying we don't want it part of the game. But it's here. So now that it's here, win the damn thing. Every year there's going to be a new winner. It just so happens that when it's the Knicks that win this thing, all of a sudden there's some asterisks around it. That, this doesn't qualify. It's a gimmick. Well, a lot of things in the NBA are gimmicks, and they're permanently in play as far as the league now. I tell Knicks fans, and to use a slight little amount of profanity here, F what they say. When we were getting our asses beat, everybody celebrated that. When we had failure after failure, they celebrated that. I mean, they stomped on that. When we went out into the streets, no matter how outlandish it was, they talk crap about that. They don't want you happy, New York Knicks fans. They want you friggin' miserable. No matter which way it goes. If you win, they're going to talk crap about you, how you won. And if you lose, they're going to talk even more, and they're going to keep piling on. That's why it's only appropriate that you feel the right way about this win for yourself as a Knicks fan. If you enjoyed this and you want to celebrate the accomplishment, go right ahead, because you should. Because winning is winning at the end of the day. And it's not something that the Knicks have not been synonymous with for a long period of time. And now you get a chance to be, right now, the best team in the NBA midseason. And that is something to celebrate, because it's a team that came together basically mid-stride, coaching mid-stride. And these guys, and people forget, Karl Anthony Towns and both Mikal Bridges are finally really getting a training camp. They're getting a full season. And now they have a new coach after having Tom Thibodeau the year prior. So all these things that the Knicks players have adapted to and made changes for resulted in them winning a midseason cup. And that should be promising for any Knicks fan. Hell with the media say, be happy and joyous. The Knicks won something for once, and we should be all celebrating that.
Joe, you want to add to that? Anything?
Okay, so we're talking about the reaction today to the cup win?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't go as deep into the socials because I try to keep my spirit pure.
Good, man.
Right? But what I did do is I went into what the media had to say about it, what the sports writers had to say about it, especially articles like what that game 4 things, let's say, we learned from the NBA Cup final. And it had mostly to do with how the Knicks shut the door on them in the fourth quarter and who they shut the door with, who on that team shut the door.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the word seasoned come around a lot, and there were a lot of really positive things that were spoken about the team that went through. I get that there's always going to be negativity around something like this because of who this team is. But I will say, for the NBA's sake, the Knicks winning this brought a lot of eyes on this thing, a lot of attention on this thing, and I dare say even brought a bit of credibility to this thing, honestly, because people are talking about it. People are not talking about it when Milwaukee wins it or when LA wins it. The Knicks are a different animal completely.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a good thing for the NBA. And again, the Knicks fans that I know were happy about this outcome. There are some people you're never going to make happy no matter what, period. We're going to win a title and they're going to be complaining about, if we didn't win it the second year in a row and all of that stuff. But the thing is, we're old guard, man. We've been rooting for this team for a long time and been talking about this team for a long time. We're going to take our wins where we can get them. And again, that was a playoff atmosphere we were watching yesterday. And they straight up shut the door on them with the things that you need to do to win playoff basketball. And that was the best thing that I took from it. The things we did last night are the things that win playoff games, especially for these kind of younger teams like we did to Detroit last year. And when we face some of these other teams that are far less seasoned, man, a win's a win's a win. And again, you got to look for things to root for. I was happy about the thing. I enjoyed the game last night. And I think there are a lot of people out there that did. And I think how the Knicks won that game and then winning this was noticed on a national stage. So it's all good, baby.
Yes, sir. Well said.
That's probably the best way to sum it up. Because it meant something. It did. It means something. And like I said before the tournament began, I said, or before this round began, I said this team together collectively is striving for something bigger.
Yeah.
And if they can win this tournament, it gives them that little bit of in their head to say, hey, we can win something like this. We can win as a team together. We can win. And that's the biggest thing that I hope they took from it. And it was nice to see the celebration, obviously. It was nice for Brunson to say what he said, and we're going to get into the meat of a little bit of what happened in the game yesterday in a little bit. But
it's going to buy Daddy a car.
Right? Yeah, like certain things like that, little things that you hear about, Cat giving the money in the Dominican Republic to kind of, promote basketball there and things of that nature. Things like you hear things like that and you understand that the guys get it, especially the stars in it. They get what this is for, what they can do with this, with their platform and with this. But there was something that came out of this that I want to talk about a little bit. And first we'll go here. So apparently it's not a banner moment. The Knicks have decided not to hang a banner in Madison Square Garden for the NBA Cup. Now, I was fine with whatever way they went with this. I heard about it. I'm like, if they hang it, fine. If they don't, that's fine too. What do you guys think about the fact that they're not hanging a banner?
It's totally a boss move. I love it.
All right. How about you? Same?
Our goals are loftier than that. We'll take the win, celebrate it while it happened, and forget about it in a couple of days. Because there are bigger things that we're looking to accomplish. I think if we had hung a banner somewhere in between 1990 and now, we'd probably hang it. But I think it's a message to the fans. For it to be the first banner hung in the Garden since 1973, there's a whole bunch of bad juju and bad energy surrounding that act, in my opinion. Especially how long the fans have waited for it. You can't have, as nice as this win was, as happy as I am that they won it, you can't have that be the first banner since 73 you hang in the Garden. So I get it. It was a boss move. It was a sign of respect to the fans, and I love it.
Yeah, I think it's like par for the course when you think about just the totality of the Knicks organization. Not a lot of names are hung in those banners to begin with. You know,
Yeah.
you have, if you haven't won a title, you're probably not up there. That's other than Ewing. So it's always been very selective who they decide to hang from the rafters. So I think it's also, I'm just going to piggyback slightly off of what Joe said, because I think this was just a message that has been clear from the start for the last several years. Leon Rose, and especially this year, we saw the firing of Thibodeau last, in the offseason. There's a clear message. Title. It's not this is not a title. This is, I don't think they want this team looking anywhere near that as an accomplishment. And it's sending a clear message that this is not what we're here for. We're here for something way greater than this midseason tournament. I think if any, and that was the thing that kind of irked me about people who were criticizing the Knicks for winning. I mean, winning. They criticize them for winning this thing. It's a measuring stick of where you are. Eric knows last night while we were all watching the game and we're thumbing, all thumbs, typing back and forth about it, I said, these were interviews. I felt like they were interviews for a couple of players. I said, Mitchell Robinson being one of them, being that his injury history, he's also due for an extension. Tyler Kolek's been mentioned as somebody that they want to expedite for, Jose Alvaron. Alvaron, yeah. So, all these people, those two guys were, which is funny enough, they were the guys probably under the biggest spotlight of what can you do for us now? Right. And so those dudes come out and say, hold my beer, and I'm not sure we're going to talk about them later. I think it was a tone being set and a message being set clear that we're here to win something greater. And I think this was a test, a litmus test for this team right now, that they're rolling in. They're not fully even a great team right now. And yet they managed to come and smack an up-and-coming, very strong team who happened to beat the last year's champs handily at some point. And the Knicks come in, and I think they're saying, okay, now we know where we are. Now let's move forward and get this thing done. And, it's just the interviewing process for mid-season interview, if it's a quarter season, whatever you want to call it. I think this is just a clear message to kind of see where we are as a team and with this coach leading. And it paid off, but this was not the goal. And I think that's why they're like, no banner. We're not putting that crap up. We're actually who want to ring, and that's, if you're not here for that, if you're a fan and not here for that, then you just need to return your fan card, because you should have expectations about that. For 3 years, I've been sitting and saying, I think it's title year. I think it's the title, and they fell short in the last 2 years. And, we remember that feeling in our stomach. This team has a lot of promise. So why not put that on them and say, get the job done, or somebody's got to go.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with you there. The way I looked at the banner thing in my head was, I'm like, well, if they do hang one, the other teams have. So if it's something that they have to do, then okay. But apparently, it's not mandatory. So
yeah,
it's not.
Thank God.
Yeah. So if the Knicks don't want to do it and they decide not to, for all the reasons you guys talked about, I totally agree with. Mm-hmm. But the other thing I say, when you hang banners for the conference championships or division championships, and you hang those are season-long accomplishments. Those took a full season, right, to get. This was just like 4 weeks of a tournament, 5 weeks of a tournament, and then, to me, it's just a little bit of a different kind of feel.
Yeah, and the games weren't in succession either, which was strange. I think they should be in succession. Right.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like it's spread out over months and weeks, and they play them on. It seems like play them just on weekends, right? It's only like on Fridays that they play the other games. I feel like, or Mondays. Very, very strange kind of setup. So it's just it's a weird. It would have been weird for me, to Joe's point, like to see that banner be the first one they hang since they won a championship in 1973. Would have been a little strange. Like, why are we doing this? And then are you gonna, like, everything that goes along with hanging a banner? Is it banner night? Like, you're going to have a night dedicated to the MVP Cup? All the things I started thinking about that go along with a normal banner ceremony, they did all that last night after the thing. Like, they got their medals and they got the trophy. Like, they got all that last night. So, and then the last part is, like, it's a neutral site tournament. So they're in Las Vegas. They're not even home. Like, you're not winning this on your home court. You're winning it in Las Vegas. So it's just all those things together. I was kind of like, if they did decide to hang one, I'd been like, all right, whatever. It didn't really matter that much to me. But I think, like, to Joe's point, it's a boss move to say, no, we this is not what we want. Like, we want the real one. We want the real banner, and we want the real trophy at the end of the year. I definitely agree with you guys on all that. All right, so we're gonna go to the next thing now that I want to talk about because it came out of last night. And Victor Wembanyama, I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm taking nothing away from this kid. He's going to be a great NBA player if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
By the time it's all said and done, this guy is going to be a ridiculously one of the all-time greats. I don't have any doubt saying that as long as he stays healthy. But someone needs to explain to me what sophisticated basketball actually is, because I need to know. I don't understand that part of it. Is it European basketball? Is that what he means? Is it? Do you guys know what that means? I'm asking.
That's some stuff maybe they do in France. New York basketball has never been sophisticated.
Oh, you get beat up.
That's some French notion. You know, they're talking about that at like Museum d'Orsay and in Montreal. All of that stuff, man. That's got nothing to do with us. I got no comment.
Yeah, it was just kind of a weird comment. And then I'm sitting there, and I said this to you guys today. I'm like, he went on to say stuff about the physicality and how the Knicks are a more physical team, and how that's kind of what he meant by saying they don't play sophisticated basketball. And from a team and player standpoint, I'm like, why would you say that? Like, every team who heard that now just says to themselves, all right, he doesn't like being bumped around. He doesn't like being played physical with, and that's what they're going to do. So you just told the entire league, this is how you stop me. And we saw that last night. It was a perfect example of what we saw last night. But Ty, what did you think of the comments, obviously, and what maybe you could give me a better definition of what that sophisticated basketball means?
That means lay poo-poo. That's what that means. As far as I'm concerned. Lay poo-poo.
That's some sauce they put on eggs.
Shout out to my man Chung Fa, because I was just talking to he follows the show. We were just talking about. I said it was one thing about Wembanyama, which I think was very telling. This is not a talent issue. We're not talking about him talent-wise.
No,
but we've all seen the thing about French players. I mean, New York of all places understand the scrutiny about French players, and maybe he's a little saucy about what has gone on with the French players in New York. We have 2, 3 of them on our team, actually 4 on our team, our current team, and maybe they whispered to him that they don't like being here. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think the thing is that it was very telling when Cat basically mugged him. And it wasn't like a vicious mug, because you got to think about who the person is that's doing it. You know, Carlton Towns is, from what a lot of people feel, is a soft player. You know, we've heard about, Cat's not physical enough. Cat's not the tough guy. Yet we saw Cat literally snatch his body out throughout the sky on one of those plays. And Wemby was like, maybe he said, ooh, I don't know, ooh, Lulu. I don't know what he said, but he said Lululemon. I don't know what the hell he said, but I think he was like, oh my God, this is like Cat. Oh my God. I think, oh my God was what he probably said, because he's like, damn, this dude is big. And he's one of the softer guys supposedly in the league. I'm not calling you soft, Cat. I'm just saying that that's what they're saying. And this dude bodied you. And it was a welcome to the NBA moment that you might be a little bit light in the ass. I think that's literally what the Knicks showed him, is that all this.
Maybe you get it from Yabusele, because he got plenty of ass. Just want to throw that in there.
And we can. John was like, it must be that. I guess so. You know, we look at Cat being the one to be the most physical out of all of them. Out of all the Knicks, you wouldn't think that, but I think he ran into a damn wall. And I think he realizes that, as I've always felt, I think most people, they say we bias and we old heads and all that stuff. There was just levels to basketball when we were growing up. We went from the 80s, where it was like you're going to get mugged in the alley, and the 90s continue with the Pistons and with the Knicks. You know, very brutal style of basketball, extremely physical. And I know we as fans who are old heads, we yearn for that. So when we hear this new generation talk about they are more skilled, I'm like, well, those skills will get broken, because if you were playing, it's question marks whether the physicality of the game would affect you. Well, what do the Knicks have? Some of the most throwback players on their team. Jalen Brunson, he's clearly, I know he's probably the weak link on most defensive things. He even was trying to swat Wemby's ball. These are guys that play with a certain physical intensity. OG might be the softest one, and he's not really a soft guy also. They play a rugged style of New York basketball. This is what New York basketball has always been like. And these guys kind of embody that whole old school atmosphere of we're going to touch you up. We're going to play physical. We might not slam you to the ground like you used to, or, you're getting clothesline like you used to. But they're saying, well, we're going to make you prove that you got heart. You can't be just Josh Hart. We got to see where your ticker is. And I think he just kind of proved a lot of stuff about the modern day athlete, the Devin Bookers, who say, don't double me because we're in a pickup game. It's like, well, part of the game is getting doubled nowadays. You're going to face this adversity. And this is not even as physical as the game used to be. I think that these guys want to be able to dance and show their supposed bags and basically show off and show up players. And when they're not able to do so, because they want guys to lay off of them. Eric will say, no, last night I'm like, why is Mitchell Robinson shrinking his body to go play this guy? I'm like, I was so ticked. I'm like, you're 7 foot tall. You crowd his base because he has a weak base. He's not a strong dude. It's like you get up in him and you make him put that on the floor, if anything, because he's going to get bumped off his spot. And the Knicks zero in on certain things with regards to the fact that if you keep punching this guy or poking at him, he's going to get punked. And he got punked last night. Let's put it where he got punked. He's not Stephen Castle. He got punked. And he went to the media crying. Well, in his baguettes this morning, I guess, and said, yeah, poo-poo, they got me. And now they're not sophisticated. Let me just bring that back to what Eric asked. Sophisticated basketball, I think, for him is the finesse game, the game that has allowed him to be able to dance around, take the ball up full court, show up guys on the court, be fancy, be Kevin Durant. Dude, you're 7'5". People are going to play you like you 7'5" if they're smart. They should be playing you to say, hey, if you're going to beat us down in the paint, you're going to have to get a to move to be able to shoot over people consistently. You're going to get you a sky hook, which I don't know why people don't use at that height, but you got to get something that is going to allow you to use your size and not minimize your size, because that's what he does. He wants to play it like a small guy. And the Knicks we're not having that.
None of the really big guys want to play on the block.
Yeah. None of them. Except Jokic. That's that dude.
You want sophisticated basketball, go play for Real Madrid. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And that's what I think it is. I think it's that portion that he wants to be able to have his highlight moments. And the Knicks didn't allow it. None of the Knicks allowed it. He got off great shots because he's talented. He can elevate over anyone. But you're 7'5" and you're playing on the perimeter. That's a disservice to the game because you technically have the greatest advantage of anyone in the league because you could at least get a turnaround in the paint. Why are you trying to cash out threes every time you're going down the floor? Like
you have to get dirty to earn it that way, man. These guys don't want to. You have to get dirty to earn it that way.
Yeah.
Schematically, it doesn't even. Schematically, it hurts them because if he's on the perimeter, he's not near the basket where he could use his height, right, to get rebounds. So it does, schematically, it also hurts them on the offensive side of the ball. And speaking of rebounds, all right, Mitch Robinson last night, this guy, if he stays healthy, honestly, if he stays healthy, the Knicks can definitely win an NBA championship this year. He, to me, is the key to what's ever going to happen. He's healthy and in shape. They can definitely win a title this year because when he plays like he played last night, getting every damn ball, like offensive rebound, being a presence in the paint. Ty, you were right at first with him, but then later in the game, he started to get that way with Wemby. He did start to lean on him, started to bruise him up a little bit. If he plays that way, the Knicks can beat anybody because he is the one guy on the team that honestly, everyone else plays their role. We have our 2 stars that can score, but he's the one thing that they have that would be a game changer against almost every other team. So I want to see more of that guy this is the guy I want to see. And I know, Ty, you said last night, why are they taking him out? You could clearly tell at that point he was exhausted. Like, he could not run up and down the court anymore. So that's why I said to you, I was like, dude, I think he's just tired.
I didn't know Cat was injured still. I thought he was injured. I'm like, you're putting him in
Yeah.
the calf. So, but no, he worked like a dog. So he deserved the rest. That's just like, well, you might have to play him a little bit longer because the call was
Only
done.
down 10 offensive rebounds in 18 minutes will make you tired, though. I mean, that's a lot of work. Offensive rebounds are the new catchphrase in the NBA. Everybody's crashing the boards. Everybody's trying to leverage that. We probably have the best offensive rebounder in all of basketball.
Oh, I think so. I think it's hands down. For the last several years.
Second chance points, man. Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, he doesn't get celebrated enough, and I'm almost sure that's why he has his little tweets every once in a while, singing his Ralph Sensitivity songs on but it'd be a country version because we don't listen to R&B. I'm staying so there. But he definitely comes out with a couple of those now and then, says, I saved this team. I already know last night I was chirping. I'm like, somebody saved this team. He's not saving them with what I saw in the first half. But maybe I called him. I think I must have called him. I texted him and said, bro, you got to pick that up because clearly he came in and he did exactly what he is capable of always doing. I think that's the thing about the NBA, much like Joe said before, these guys don't want to play inside. And he's a throwback player. He plays at the rim. He plays for the rebound. I don't want to say I think Josh Hart is more Dennis Rodman-like, but this guy is one of those guys that's special at rebounding the basketball to the point it's a positive for the team. And you don't get those offensive rebounds by being a punk. And, that's what he's proven. And to know to throw the ball out. That's the one thing that he doesn't get enough credit. Somebody pointed that out to me today. He doesn't get credit for throwing the pass out of those rebounds to someone specifically. Like you don't ever see that lead to a fast break down the other end. Like he mishandles the rebound on a pass out. So, shout out to Mitchell Robinson. If he's healthy, that's why people are talking about them like downplaying this run that the Knicks are on, because they know if this is the normal, if this is the Knicks moving forward in last night's game, the league has a problem.
Yeah, watching the Thunder again against the Spurs the other night too, I was kind of looking for things, just kind of from a scouting perspective, like how would we match up with them? Because everyone thought they were going to be playing them. I think the Spurs kind of shocked everyone. So I was kind of looking for things and seeing like where we'd have an advantage, and it is inside. I mean, as much as I like Hartenstein, I think both Cat and Robinson would give them problems in a series. So I feel like that's the benefit that the Knicks have if and when we wind up playing them in the playoffs, which would be in the finals, obviously, if we got there. So definitely there is no, like I said, there's no, and I've said this the past few years, like if Mitchell Robinson is healthy, the Knicks are just a different team and they're capable of much, much more in the playoffs. So cross our fingers there that he can stay healthy and that he can get in shape. And they had a foul trouble. He commits some dumb ones too. We get on Cat for it. He does the same stuff. So, definitely do that. And if we do all that, I like our chances this year. I really do. I think the Knicks have a really good shot. So
I mentioned this in the chat last night. The thing that bothers me the most about Mitchell Robinson is the free throw thing. Because if you can put that kind of offensive rebounder late in games, in crunch time in the fourth quarter, it's such a huge advantage. And we can't play him then. We can't play him then because they're just going to put him on the line. But that kind of offensive rebounding in those crunch possessions at work and having that ace up in his sleeve, the fact that we can't do that because of his foul shooting is the only negative thing I could say about Mitchell Robinson. Otherwise, I love the guy.
Yeah, I don't know how that's even.
They took is it under 5 minutes or 2 minutes that they can't do the hack thing?
Under 2 minutes, they can't. I think it's under 2.
Minutes, right?
Under 2.
Yeah, so that's still, they can still do it for like the 3 minutes before that. Because I always say under 5, like is usually that's crunch time, right? That's what the NBA considers crunch time, I believe, under 5 minutes. So yeah, they still, those 3 minutes between 5 and 2, if you're able to foul him and kill possessions, that's right.
But I agree with this much with Joe too, because what ends up happening, even if in the 2 minutes, you might can't hack a Mitch, but if Mitch grabs a rebound, you're hacking Mitch.
Just
So
grab him, yeah.
before you go and toss that ball out, I'm going to just foul you and put you. I just think it's an atrocity. I think they should take money from you every time you you dip past 85% in the NBA, because those guys get paid a lot of money.
His value is never stronger than in those game situations.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Great
Yeah.
game last night, though.
Well, hopefully, I mean, get the shot doctor with him, right? Isn't that, what's that guy's name? I forget. The shot doctor.
Shot.
Get him.
Yeah. What is his name?
Dude, they've done everything, I'm sure, up to this point. I'm sure they've gotten witch doctors in, old Ukrainian women waving a modified chicken foot at them, and giving them special salves and stuff like that.
Are you saying F you, Jobu? Is that what you're saying?
Jobu. Rum for Jobu.
Honestly, I'm going to say this, and I mean, I'm not an NBA player, but I was a pretty decent shooter when I played back in the day. Then just bend your knees, Mitch. Bend your knees as part of the bend your damn knees. And I'm telling you, you'll start hitting free throws.
He beelines a lot of those shots. That's one of the issues.
Yeah,
so
all those videos of him shooting, he lost all that form. He's just doing exactly what he did last year.
It's better off underhand. I know, and people think it's silly because they go, "Oh, it looks bad." Not if they go in.
Rick didn't
go in.
Rick Barry. Yeah, it was Rick Barry.
One of the best foul shooters in it ever. Rick Barry. And he did it.
Yep. Do what works. That's what I say. I don't care. Left hand for Hank Gathers shot of left-handed. Remember Hank Gathers?
What's his name? Who was the guy that was left over? No, he shot one. He used to shoot one left-handed.
Bo Kimball.
Yeah, Bo Kimball used to do that for him in honor.
Oh, that's right. He was teammates with him at
Loyola Marymount.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
all right, so the other guy who showed out last night, and I was waiting to talk about
Uh-oh.
I'm surprised this was topic number one, Mr. Joe.
Uh-oh, Knicks fans.
I haven't beaten the drum since last year. Let him play. We don't need a backup point guard. Let him play. And he's been playing this year sporadically. Started out the season playing, then they took him out of the rotation. He's been back in the rotation recently. And last night, I think we finally saw what he can do when he's given time. And he's been building his confidence. You've seen it in the way he's interacting with his teammates, being a little bit of a leader, speaking his mind a little more, telling guys where they need to go. You see it all the time, too. He'll be like, no, you should be over there. You should be over there. Like he's doing what a floor general does. And last night, it all came together. The defense, the jump shot was there. He had a couple of nice drives, the creativity and the passing. That last pass he threw to OG for the three.
That was sick.
Beautiful play.
Yeah.
Always keeps his head up, is always looking to make the pass, always making sure that, head up, scanning the floor, reading the floor. A couple of times last night, I thought he drove him past him. Like, you should have shot that. I feel like he could have taken a couple more shots. I think he still needs to work on that part of his game, but I don't need Jose Alvarado. If he's going to play this way, guys, we don't need a backup. We have one.
Yeah, I agree.
So what did you think of his performance? Am I being too heavy on it in the right way? What do you think?
I think the jury's still out with me. I've liked what I've seen the last two games. My favorite play of his, though, was that play when San Antonio was out on the fast break and he just stepped in and disrupted the Wemby lane as the trailer. So that just that high IQ kind of basketball move. I've been very encouraged with him because, to tell you the truth, in the very limited things that I've seen of him over the years, I haven't been impressed, to be honest with you. However, the game before this and this game both, I was starting to see things that you kind of hope to see in this player. So I'm encouraged. I'm absolutely encouraged. And I think, again, having the recognition from his teammates talking today about how hard this kid works, and that anybody who's coming into the league should really see how this kid is working. I think Josh Hart was talking about that they should take a kind of a book out of his page. And, obviously seeing him shoot more confidently, especially going into the hole when you got Wemby sitting back there and having the courage to kind of take it to the hole. So very encouraging. Very encouraging. Would I still probably want a vet there, a vet backup point guard? Right now, yes. Ask me in 2 weeks, I might say no if this continues.
All right, Ty.
Well, I deemed him Patrick Bateman. Anybody doesn't know what Patrick Bateman is? It's American Psycho, played by Christian Bale. It's always those dudes that you see. It's almost like the Jeremy Lin. He looks like he should be a doctor somewhere, and he's a professional somewhere, and you go, maybe not that guy, because we see it in Jalen Brunson. We see him as a guy like that guy's probably a third string point guard. When you look at him, like you're an NBA player, you wouldn't think that about Jalen Brunson. Same thing goes with Tyler Kolek. When you look at him, you assume the obvious, not being prejudiced, but we all know there's a movie called White Men Can't
Financial Planner.
Yeah, so, what white men can't jump, was fed into all the stereotypes on the basketball court from all aspects, all colors, all hues. It was the quintessential stereotypical WWE, this guy is this way, kind of the way they portrayed. And when you look at a guy like Bateman, he would probably be, I call him Bateman, but a guy like Kolek, you would look at him and be like, we're not picking that white boy. Mm-hmm. That's how most of the time it happens. And Eric knows you need to watch, because the minute you end up thinking that dude is not that dude, he will surprise you. And, we heard that he's slower. He's not athletic. Similar things you hear from Jalen Brunson. These guys are not supposed to be the types that actually win you games or be able to play at this level. I think only thing that was surprising to me about Tyler Kolek was I thought his shooting would be a lot better all the time. I thought that was the one knock. Not so much as the physicality of the game. You could see little things here and there where you say, if he is able to shoot better, then these other things unfold for him. But we heard the talk, like these guys don't read the paper also, said he's not tough. He can't play defense. And then you see him throughout the season, he has these moments, like him standing up Wemby in the middle in the game, something that the center on the team was not doing at one point. Meanwhile, this guy's like, no, I'm going to physically stand him up so he can't have an advantage. So the IQ kicked in, and followed by the IQ is the toughness that he's been playing with. So we look at a guy like Tyler Kolek, and I said this about 3 weeks ago. I said, if he ever gets a shot, if he learns to shoot, if his shot becomes more consistent, the Knicks have their backup point guard. I don't think you need to worry about that. And what does he do? He comes out here, and much like you guys said, he's earned the trust of all the Knicks players. They love him. His work ethic is showing, obviously, in practice and behind the scenes. Jalen, he's one of Jalen's favorite people from what we're learning. So he has a great mentor in a sense with Jalen. Yeah. And I think he works probably best. He's the one guy that always unlocks Mikal Bridges. I always feel like they play so well together. I think the Knicks, once again, I said this was an interview. I think this was to see what this guy has in this pressure cooker situation. And he answered the bell. What, he had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. I think what he can't walk away with. He probably had a couple steals or a steal. The pass to Anunoby was absolutely brilliant, but not a shock. This guy can pass the damn ball. I think this is his one outlier talent is has the ability to command a floor in an offense and be able to get people involved. Eric has always campaigned, said, put him in as a backup. Why not? This guy was paid the most out of any second rounder ever in the history of the NBA. We had a coach, felt he didn't belong, and he picked him. So I'm more than sure in that last exit interview, probably Tyler Kolek left a note about Tom Thibodeau. Also, I would love to hear his interview, about Tom Thibodeau and him not being utilized. I think the one thing I'll stand on that I've said before while we were going through our Tom phase, I was like, don't judge any of these guys as is, because you have a coach that's not developing or allowing these guys to develop. So you can't really say what they're not. So what we've seen is an uptick in certain players. OG can rebound. Oh, we wouldn't have saw that with Tom Thibodeau. Josh Hart, granted, he got a shooting coach, but he's shooting the lights out. Now you got Tyler Kolek, tough enough to be a backup, tough enough to play in a playoff situation, in a one and done situation where you either leave or go home. Basically, you win or go home. So you see him performing under duress. So where were these guys were all available prior to last year? They were all available. So prior to this year, they were all available last year. So we see that, and I'm impressed by him. Eric says not to get Grand Theft Auto, Alvarado. I wouldn't get him for Tyler. My thing has been trade Pacome or Big Butt Cannot Lie.
I like his upside better.
Them dudes. What you say, Joe?
I like his upside better. Daddy.
Oh, over Big Butt Cannot Lie? Yeah.
Over Kolick.
Oh, over Kolick. Oh, wow. I just don't know if this guy. Once again, we're talking French. We. These guys, for some reason, I would have thought Pacome would have cracked a lineup right now. And the fact that he hasn't makes me wonder what's missing in his game.
He's not only he's younger. He's coming primarily from the European Junior League. Basically, was drafted here. He's got the bigger adjustment, but he's also bigger. He's got that 3-point shot. He's got a lot of the physical intangibles that Kolick will not have. If they could develop him, he's got the much higher ceiling, I think.
Oh, I agree with that. I think the talent is there. But, potential is the craziest thing in it.
Kolick will pay dividends more now. But, Eric's right, as much as I argue with him about this, you have to keep an eye to the future somewhat.
Yeah.
That's really not on our radar right now, considering we gave away all of our draft picks. But that's a guy I could see turning into somebody.
And you have Ding Pate, who's also showing stuff. You have a couple guys that are in the pike that you can maybe bring along slowly. I'm just thinking of the now. Yabusele is probably the most tradable person. Obviously, I don't think nobody would cry about that. For Jose Alvarado, I would trade a type of player like that. But not for – I don't want Kolick gone because I just think that when you think about what he provides something that the Knicks don't have, and that is a floor general, someone to distribute the ball and get everyone involved. And now he's showing a level of toughness, a willingness to put his face into the crowd and let it get punched. He's like, I'm not going to get pumped. So we're seeing the level of New York toughness in Tyler Kolick. Big East, I guess, flavor is coming around there. And you heard Dwayne Wade. I know he's from Marquette, but he's celebrating the hell out of him on the sideline. Like, this kid came to play. He's a gamer. And in New York, that means everything. If you're a gamer, that guy who's going to show up and go not back down, despite look like he should. Probably why people love Jalen Brunson. You think he's going to back down, and he won't also. But not for Tyler. I like Tyler. I've liked him since the Knicks drafted him. Whether he was going to develop, I thought the physicality of the game might be a question mark about whether that would prevent him from being in a rotation. But he's clearly proved I don't know if he's in the weight room, but he don't give a damn about the weights. He's in there fighting. And New York love a fighter, so that's why I'd rather keep him. I don't want to get rid of him unless it's for a bigger package.
I want to throw out something controversial to the both of you. So obviously there's a lot of fans of Tyler Kolick here. And we all recognize what happened last night and what he contributed last night. How crazy is Chris Paul coming for a year?
I don't think it's crazy. I just don't think it's going to happen, but I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with Ty on that. I don't think it's a crazy thought. I have a feeling if it was going to happen, it would have happened already.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I feel. Like he would be here by now. I don't know what the interest is from the Knicks side, to be honest. But I do think for what he is now, it would be awesome. He'd be awesome. He's one of my favorite players ever. So it'd be awesome to have, for me personally, to have him on the Knicks. But we always do this. Jason Kidd was one of my favorite players ever as well. And then we get him when he's literally on his last leg. His legs were giving out. So I don't think Paul. I think Paul is in better shape. I think he definitely could play and come in. I just think I don't know the dynamic with Brunson being the captain and him. I don't know how that would work.
I agree with you on that.
That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't hate it.
There are rumors about that he wasn't in his role necessarily. or he was trying to influence outside the level of his role.
And he's always been rumored to be that way. You know, he's the big personality. When you get Chris Paul, he's the personality. You know, and he's intelligent. So those are sometimes the hardest people to actually communicate back with and gain a trust with. And right now, this team the voice is Jalen Brunson, and it's a very calming voice. It's a very strong voice. You know, it's a voice that his teammates absolutely trust. I don't think that you kind of bring Paul in to fight over the bone, you know, because now you might have fractions in there where it's him, like all of the guys who love Jalen against him. And now all of a sudden now in the locker room dynamic is a little bit different. Like even Carl, you got to respect Carl Towns. You know, people talk about him all they want. First thing he did when he walked through the door was tip his hat to Jalen and said, "Captain, you're the captain." Somebody who's an elite guy like Towns to come in and say, "This is your franchise. I'm not here to disrupt. I'm here to help you win." I think you got to let that voice stay in, because he'll bring in more people. When you watch, like even the celebration, like the Knicks players were celebrating once the cup ended, once the game ended. And what does Jalen Brunson do? He doesn't go in the crowd with the celebration. He goes and shakes the hand of all the Spurs. That's what he does. Look at the footage. He's like, he's just got a certain respect and cachet that I think that when you are watching him, I don't think you bring in Chris Paul or Rondo. These guys with these huge personalities that are looking to suck the air out the room.
Especially with the way that things ended up in LA, which had to be eye-opening to him. You know, you would hope he would be able to come in and see this as his best chance at the one thing that's evaded him during his career and being a part of that. You would hope that that would click in somehow into the Chris Paul calculus.
Yeah.
You know what?
I trust Westbrook to come in and do that more than Paul right now. And I hate to say it.
Oh, no, I don't want that guy at all.
Not to know his place. I don't think he knows who his place is.
You're probably very right on that.
It would be hard at this stage for him to change who he is. I think that's the biggest problem with him. Like, he might say all the right things, and then you get him in the locker room and a couple of things start going bad, and he starts to try and be like, well, no, we should be doing it this way. You should be doing this. And like, that's not going to go over well with the dynamic that team currently has. But you can tell it's a very free-flowing locker room. The guys can talk to each other. They get along. When Brunson needs to step up, he does. Like, we saw that happening on the bench that time, and he was like, guys, whatever he said to them, he like shut them both up. They were talking. So like, he's the voice that, to Ty's point, he's the voice that they respect now. And it's probably because of how he handles things when they go bad, or how he speaks to everybody. And adding Paul to that at this stage of his career, because he's a Hall of Famer, clearly. I mean, he has a certain cachet that he's built, and he has a certain way about him that's worked for him. And at the end of his career, I doubt that's going to change. Now, again, from a personal standpoint, I would love it. He's one of my favorite players of all time.
God, man.
Yes, like he plays the position the way I like my guys playing the position. He's a point guard. So that's what I love about Chris Paul. But I just don't see it right now. It's an interesting point, and I was thinking it when they got rid of him. Like, would we bring him in? I honestly think it's been a couple weeks now. A few weeks, it would have happened by now. If he was going to come here, I think it would have happened by now.
I agree.
So that's where I'm at. So one more thing I want to discuss before we go. There was talk last night at the end of the game. They were talking to David Silver, and he talked that they brought up expansion, and he said, check back with me in 2026. So if we expand, where do you think we're going? Where do you think we're going? First, that's my first question.
Seattle, they got to think about Seattle. That's got to be,
right.
I would think, one franchise. Boy. I mean, I know they want one in Vegas. They've been always very much. I don't know how that works. I think the gambling situation now, they might want to steer away from that clearly, because the NBA has really,
Should try Vancouver again.
I'm surprised. I've always been surprised, and shout out to my man Joe Clark, who's part of the people looking the campaign to get a franchise back to this one city or this one state. And that's Kentucky. I'm so shocked.
We talked about them.
Yeah, I'm just so shocked that the absolutely one of the biggest basketball states, period, probably next to New York and Indiana, and huge collegiate following clearly with the Kentucky Wildcats and Louisville Cardinals, all these guys, and you would think that Kentucky would be the one, but it is a poor state too, so maybe that's got a lot to do with it.
That doesn't always translate though, man. Look at football in Georgia. The Georgia Bulldogs are in Georgia. Go and see all the empty seats in an Atlanta Falcon game.
Yeah, that's just not a sports city yet. Period. Look at Atlanta. Look at the Hawks. Like we own
the Braves.
We run teams.
Yeah, that's true. Even Turner Field when the Braves were good.
Mm-hmm. So it's just
that's the only team that this professional team that they support is the Braves. That's it.
That's it.
Other than they don't support the Falcons. They don't support the Hawks. They tried hockey there twice already. Didn't work either time. Like that's never gonna happen.
They've talked about London. I think London was one of the cities, which is be kind of weird. I mean, I'm not sure they would love to be over in Europe at some point.
They made a point of saying domestic expansion, though.
Oh, did they say? I didn't hear. Okay, so
the thing that's interesting about this, though, is let's say it's Vegas and it's Seattle. How are you throwing that in the Eastern Conference? Because you have to balance that out.
Well, they're moving.
They seem like New Orleans and move New Orleans over to the East.
That's what the plan was that I think New Orleans would be shifting to the East.
That would make sense.
Yeah, so that's where that whole dynamic would go, is that New Orleans. But I mean, he's probably talking two teams at least, unless he's relocating like Brooklyn, which they should be the first team to want to relocate. To be honest with you, I think this market is not. They don't have a market here. They don't have a market, period. Since they've left New Jersey, I know
the strange thing is the team's valuation is through the roof compared to what it used to be.
Because where it plays, because it's in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn. Yeah, that's why.
And probably fans go there because tickets might be cheaper and you can see your team there still. So instead of paying Garden prices, you pay the Barclay prices. I don't know. I mean, Charlotte could move. I know they're probably not. There's a lot of, like, to me, it's like, well, let me just put it where I want to put it with this expansion.
If they're talking expansion, though, that's new franchises.
Yeah. And then that's a lottery that you give up some of your excess players at the end of the bench. And you have to make it available. So in a watered down league, because this is what this league is, it's going to be even worse. Like, Charlotte's a terrible team. New Orleans with talent is a terrible team. These are bad. Brooklyn, terrible team. Like, these are bad franchises. And the Clippers, just throw it in as much money as Ballmer has. That's an abomination in LA with what's going on with that team and how they've managed, not even just the Kawhi controversy. The controversy is when he don't play. And you brought in Harden, who I don't think he's worried about winning no more than I do.
I've rid of Nate Powell for a bag of magic beans, man.
Why would you even move? Those moves are like Donald Sterling is still running the team. But Lawrence Frank is supposedly – that's what the funny thing about when we talk about the Chris Paul. I'm like, yeah, he probably was an ass, but this is the Clippers we're talking about. He probably had a reason to be in here saying some nasty stuff to that front office.
Yes, but when you look at the makeup of that team, and he's the one they got rid of, and apparently him and Ty Lue butted heads because Chris Paul is probably like, "What are you doing? Like, look at you have all these stars. Like, what are you doing?" That's probably what happened. And Ty Lue was probably like, "Don't tell me what to do." like that's how I feel the conversation going. I was like, I didn't come here for this crap. Like, this is my last season. Like, I didn't come here.
How often do you think he sits in the dark and wishes that trade to the Lakers went through?
Yeah, he definitely does.
I know. I was happy to get it when it happened.
A cognac in a dark room, cursing his fate.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, when the Clippers were good when he was there. They never got a title, but they were good. They were a good team.
No,
He was
Leipzig
there.
was good.
very exciting
Yep.
team to watch too.
They were fun to watch. He was but when I think of expansion, like I know he said domestic, but I'm like, does domestic include North America? Like, are we talking Mexico City? Are we
I think domestic. They're talking U.S. That's
just
exactly
U.S.?
what that means to me. That is not domestic and international. Those are two things with a very clear boundary. I hope Seattle's one of them. I think that team deserves
big time.
a team, and
Agreed.
I don't understand why they ever left Seattle because there was great support for that team. And I hope they go back to the Supersonics again and they keep the same logo and everything.
Yeah, I think that would happen. Same thing like they did with Charlotte. I think that would happen when they went back to Charlotte. It would be something like that.
New Orleans
I agree with.
should move to Seattle. I don't know why they're even in New Orleans. That would be
I know we talked about that too. We talked about the Pelicans. It's just a terrible.
New Orleans is the Saints and nothing else. I don't think they even support that team.
The same thing. Yep, same thing there. The Saints and college football.
The Saints.
That's all I care about. Yep, it's all about the Saints.
They can move that.
I'm with you guys. I'm with you all on everything you said. Ty, I agree with you. Just water down the league even more if we add more teams. I don't think they need to do it. I do, but if they do, I agree about Kentucky. We've talked about it before. I don't understand why they don't have a team. They've had one in the past. Do you hit up the mid, like any more of the Western cities? Are we talking about that? Any place there that could support a team, or there's a yearning for basketball?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's another city. It's a fairly big city too.
St. Louis, Kansas City. Those are teams that are they don't have a basketball team, but St. Louis at least has an arena for the Blues to play in. Kansas City doesn't have that.
Nope.
I
don't know, but I would love to see a list of cities that they're contemplating.
I would too, just to see where their head's at on who can get an expansion. Like I said, Seattle to me has been a no-brainer. They should have already moved the franchise there. It makes no sense that they don't have one there. But
that would be more of my thing, like moving a franchise to Seattle. I would prefer that.
Yeah, moving one. Because I mean, the fan base is incredible.
Yeah,
those.
There were more than a couple of hearts that were broken when that team left.
And they have a good base of NBA players that come from that area. We know Jamal Crawford. We know Nate Robinson. Several other people who are Seattle natives. Their support for the team would be incredible. I'm on sure they can definitely revive, that franchise and get fanfare in there. It's just it's like, why would you not go there? I think move one of the teams, not expand. It's going to be ugly. Some of these things are money grabs. Obviously they're just trying to look to expand. And I think that's been Silver's MO is just expand, not figure out how to make the game better. Just keep expanding and become more global. And the product suffers still.
It's good for the owners though.
Big time.
More teams equals more TV revenue.
But it also takes away a cut of the pie. So I hear you, but it does. It becomes a 1 out of 30 and then a 1 out of 32. So it lessens if they're adding 2 new teams. Right?
The pie gets
good point. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here with all of this. But it's going to be. I always love hearing. I love thinking about the business side of sports as well. Even on my even on Straight Outta Gotham, where I do my other podcast, a lot of times we talk about the business of entertainment as well. We did a big segment on the Warner Brothers sale recently. So I know it might be boring to some of you, but it's interesting to me. So I like to bring it up and discuss it.
Did that go for Netflix or Paramount?
Netflix was the one that won the bid. So they currently are in the process of finalizing the deal, but Netflix won. But I don't think it's going to get through the government. I think the antitrust laws are going to prevent it from happening.
I did not like the idea of the Ellison family getting their hands on that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone did, and I think that's why it didn't happen. So,
Who was the Ellison family associated?
Larry Ellison,
Paramount.
Oracle,
Yeah.
and he's also very, very close friends with the president.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when they first had during his first term, when they had all that stuff happen with TikTok, and the concerns about it, Ellison got the contract to house TikTok in the interim. So, there's deep ties.
I wonder how that happened.
Well, that's one of the concerns here is that the Ellison family gains control of media outlets with close ties to the president.
Lord have mercy. That is a very scary. Not just saying because of who he is, but what he represents. It's of the media, and
it's officially Larry Ellis's son, but it's the Ellison family.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, monopolize media. I mean, we're already in that stage already. If this is the new free press is literally having a YouTube channel and maybe a podcast or whatever you want to call.
That's
free media, and you're getting more truth from average people than you are from the actual outlets that are supposed to supply it. So it's kind of crazy.
The sale, I don't think the sale is going to get approved. So I'm not even too worried about it right now. Just knowing what I know legally about this stuff, it's not going to happen. I can't see it being ever passing through the regulators. So we'll see what happens there. Sorry to go on a little bit of a tangent, everybody, but
it's an interesting topic, though.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is a very interesting topic, and I'm glad we got to talk about it. So, all right, we're gonna say goodbye, but before we say goodbye, this is our final show before the Christmas holiday coming up. So I want to wish everyone out there a very Merry Christmas. To all of our Jewish watchers, Happy Hanukkah. I know Hanukkah is this week right now, so I want to wish you all a Happy Hanukkah as well.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Kwanzaa out there to those who celebrate. I want to wish you all Happy Kwanzaa. We do appreciate you guys. Again, we do this every week. We're three older guys. We have fun doing this, so we appreciate anyone who watches us, comes on, and shares this time with us as we talk about a team that we love and love to hate sometimes. So definitely want to put that all out there to you, and of course also Happy New Year as well. I hope you guys have a gracious and joyous New Year, and spending the whole holiday season with your family and friends. I hope you all have a very, very merry holiday season. Anything else you guys want to add?
Happy Hanukkah, Bob.
Yeah, Bob Greenberg. Shout out to you, Bob. Happy Hanukkah to you, Bob.
Yeah.
And if you got some leftover cookies for Santa, you can send them to me. I'm a cookie eater.
No, but happy holidays to everyone. Echo what Eric said.
Yes, absolutely. Ditto.
All right, so for Ty and Joe, I'm Eric. You're watching All Knicked Up, and we will see you next year. Take care, everyone.